area, and it's going to be this general region right here, almost kind of mid-island. You're watching along the beach areas here, we're okay. It's going to be more onto the sound side, the Calibogue sound side, in this general area right here where we're seeing some of that rotation. Now, where is the system going to go? Again, Jamie mentioned it is racing out to the northeast very quickly at about 50 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put a tracker on that. I'll zoom on out and show you that it's going to be getting into the Bluffton area. As we put a track on that, we'll put the cone and continue to track this system out right here as it continues to make its way out to the north and northwest pretty quickly. So it looks like it's going to be getting into, the only ones we have are Spanish Wells by 11:19 and into the Buckingham Landing area by about 11:28. So this storm right here over southern and kind of mid-island right now of Hilton Head is showing a little bit of rotation right now. That has prompted the tornado warning. So if you're watching over here mid-island, especially as you're getting over towards the 278 area, into, I believe, over onto the east side of the Bluffton region. You need to be in your safe shelter right now in the lowest level of your home. You want to be in an interior room, preferably an indoor closet, an indoor bathroom, away from any windows, as we could be seeing this rotation here trying to spawn a brief, quick tornado moving through this area. This is where the tornado warning is. Moving through the Hilton Head Island area. And it looks like there's a little bit of rotation right over here as well, kind of just north of 278, in between 170 and 278 as well. That's looking like it has a little bit of rotation out there as well. But I believe the warned storm right now is going to be this one here, moving off of the Hilton Head Island area. So again, if you're watching, this is what we're going to be, we're expecting to see. That tornado watch goes through 2 a.m. These isolated scattered showers associated with the outer rain bands from Michael are moving in. And as they move in from the Atlantic, they are working northward and rotating out to the northwest. So that is what we're going to be keeping our eyes on here. This area of rotation, let's see if we can draw it out for you, for parts of Hilton Island right now. Center Island right now is seeing that rotation, as we are looking at that right here. And again, it looks like there's another little area of some rotation right about in this area right there, which is also working quickly out to the northeast. So if you're watching over into the Beaufort County area, you need to be down into your safe shelter area, lowest level of your home, especially over into the Bluffton region. Let's go ahead and back on out and show you exactly more closer here, a wider view of what we're looking at. In Chatham County, you're going to be okay, but look at this other little area of rotation just off the coast of Tybee Island right now. That's also going to be making its way up towards Hilton Island. So this could be a little bit active out here for the next half hour, hour or so, as these storms continue to make their way on from the Atlantic, continue to work quickly out to the north, and we are seeing some rotation with a couple of these areas right now. And as far as the warnings go, we'll go ahead and put the warnings on there for you. We don't have any confirmation of any actual tornadoes making their way to the ground, but we're certainly seeing rotation in these storms, and at any time that rotation could make its way down to the ground. So that's why you need to be taking this seriously here. You need to be on the lowest level of your home. You need to be trying to get away from any windows, an interior room, and make sure you got your way to receive these weather alerts, as we will continue to see these storms move in from the Atlantic. Let's see if we can put on the radar right now and show you that loop at how quickly these storms are moving just over the past hour. And they are continuing to race out from south to north. So it's going to be continuing here, it looks like, as we have actually more showers continuing to work in behind that area. And we'll go ahead and zoom on out a little bit more. So there's more offshore here, and you can see the motion of those going to take it up into Beaufort County. I think right now the rest of the area is pretty okay as far as seeing any type of tornadic activity. We really don't have much in the way of any showers across the rest of the immediate viewing area, but the tornadic activity is going to be right here, moving in from this band, this outer rain band, which is prompting the warnings, and that is going to produce the possibility of a few isolated tornadoes. So let's get back over to the velocity here as we zoom on in here with the Charleston radar, and we'll go back on over and we'll choose the camera to zoom on in just to show you there's a lot of rotation with these storms. And just check out all that red next to the green in here with these storms. So this is something we're going to be tracking here for at least the next hour or so as these storms continue to race out to the north. So the storm right now, which prompted the warning, is now moving off of Hilton Head. So if you're watching over on Hilton Head, I think you're going to be okay briefly until that other area moves up from the Tybee Island region. And then another one right there, not showing as good as rotation right there as this one is right now. So let's put a track on that right now as we continue to follow this area. We'll put the cone and continue to see that work its way out to the north and northwest, it looks like. So we're not really seeing much in the way of any cities. Let's see if we got any cities on that. Shell Point, it says by 11:52, as it continues to move now north of the 278 area. So if you're watching south of 278 into the Bluffton region, it looks like you're going to be just fine right now as far as seeing any warnings. But if you're watching over here north of 278, in between 170 heading up towards Shell Point, that's where we're seeing the rotation, which is trying to make its way up towards your area. And I do think we're going to see that rotation continue because it looks like a pretty good rotation signature out there. I'm going to try to put on the correlation coefficient. And this is something that we can actually see, which is actually picking up what is different into the atmosphere. And actually can try to pick up debris signatures into the air. So if you do have a tornado and it moves over some populated area or picks up debris, so let's say if it moves over some homes or houses and debris from the homes starts to get picked up and thrown into the air, the correlation coefficient can actually see that, and it's what we call a debris signature or tornadic signature with a correlation coefficient. Now, this is a lot of marshy areas right here, so the correlation coefficient probably not going to pick up much of way of anything because we don't really have a lot of homes out in this general area here. So we're really not seeing much in the way of any signature back out in that area as far as the correlation coefficient, but we'll continue to keep our eyes on that. So let's get back on over to the velocity and show us exactly where we are seeing that rotation right now. And then again, it is pretty much moving away from the Hilton Head Island area. It's this region right here where we have the greens, which is winds going towards the radar, and the reds, which is winds going away from the radar. That is continuing to make its way out to the north-northeast. So it's north of 278, continuing to work up towards the 170 area, getting up towards the Shell Point region. Again, we saw that. But again, that will continue to make its way northward. But I want to let you know that behind that, we are looking at a little bit more rotation now, which is moving now just to the just off the coastal areas of Tybee Island, and that's this little area right here, which is about to approach southern areas of Hilton Head right now. Is the chat mentioning anything about that one, Jamie?
They're not
mentioning anything about that right now. But again, that looks like another little signature right here. And I'll put a track on that one for you as well as we continue to follow a little bit of rotation out there. And let's see if we can put the cone on that one. And this one also is racing right behind the other one, continue to work out to the north-northwest. So it looks like that rotation we're trying to get over towards the Spanish Wells area, 1143, the Brighton Beach area by 1148, and getting into the Bluffton area by about 1153. Again, that's how quickly these storms are moving. It's just off the Tybee, but it's moving at about 45 miles per hour. And will continue to work very quickly out to the north and northwest. There it is right there. This is the main one which has prompted the warning right now. And that is now moving north of 278. Let's see if we can get down a little bit closer here and see if we can get into some street level over in that region as we zoom on in right here. And let's see how close we can get in over here, see if we pick up any of these streets over in this general area. So here is Pinckney Wildlife Refuge, and it looks like it's moving right through that right now. We have Sawmill Creek Road. It's just out to your west. It looks like it's going to continue to work its way north. And again, not a lot of roads out here. A lot of this is going to be kind of the marshy areas as you get closer to the water regions. You get a little bit more populated areas. You work a little bit further out to the west, getting over towards the Moss Creek area. There's Moss Creek Drive right here. It looks like it's out just to your east-northeast. Again, right over the Pinckney Wildlife Refuge area and continuing to work its way out to the north. So let's see if there's anything else over here north. We'll go ahead and recenter this and see if anything is out here. If you're watching over here in these areas right now into the Inverness Drive region, it looks like it's going to be very much coming very close to your area. You need to be in your safe shelter in your lowest level of your home, away from any windows. And again, be in your safe room, an interior closet, an interior bathroom or a hallway. will be a very good place to be, especially if you are in a single level home. If you're in a double level home, two-story home, get on the bottom floor, as you don't want to be up on the top floor. You want to be in the lowest level of your home. Now again, this warning right now, we'll go ahead and show you what we have as far as the warnings. There's a tornado warning that is in effect for parts of Beaufort County. We'll go ahead and zoom on out. We'll put that into the home mode right here and show you that it's really here for Hilton Head Island through the Bluffton region, and then heading up closer to the Shell Point area. If it holds together, it's going to be getting closer to the Port Royal and the Beaufort area. And there's another little bit of rotation now, which is just about to get closer to southern areas of Hilton Head Island as well. No other warnings in effect right now for the entire rest of the area. If you're in the inland regions, you're pretty quiet right now. Now it is breezy. We still actually have that tornado watch, which is going to be in effect going through that 2 a.m. hour. Ironically, we don't have that tornado watch in effect for the low country, but again, anywhere in and around the watch area has the potential for seeing the rotation. And it really all depends on where these outer rain bands set up. And right now, those rain bands are setting up over parts of Beaufort County, and they are racing quickly from south to north. There are those bands right now continuing to work northward. If you're watching over here for a lot of Chatham County, pretty quiet. Effingham County, quiet. It's really Beaufort County right now, which is seeing that rotation. So let's go ahead and zoom on in. We'll put it on the velocity first, and then we'll go ahead and zoom on in and see where we have any of that rotation, if we can still see it as we pick it out. And we'll go ahead and zoom on in with the camera to the warned area right here. And that's going to be this general location as we get into Beaufort County right here. So let's go ahead and zoom on in. And again, this area here could be seeing a little bit of rotation as well, but the warned storm is right there now, moving into the Pinckney Wildlife Refuge area north of 278, kind of just to the east-northeast of the Moss Creek area, and that's going to continue to make its way out to the north. Still a little bit of a signature in there. There is some green right next to the red, so it is showing a little bit of a signature where it could still have a little bit of rotation in there. I'm going to recenter and see if we can put another tracker on there. So if you're watching up here, if you're up late watching, hopefully you all are as well and got your alerts turned on, we're going to go ahead and put this tracker on with you. We're going to stay with you right here on air until these warnings have expired. Let's go ahead and put the cone on. And it's going to be, again, this little area right here as it continues to make its way out to the north. Let's see if we can put another tracker on there because it just kind of froze up. All right, did the computer freeze up? Let's see what happened with that. Let's put a track on back and we'll get that track going again. We'll put the cone on. Cone on. Let's see. All right, it looks like we're having a little bit of course, computer problem out there. Let's see. Come on, cone. We know you're over there. We know you've been working all afternoon and evening. Does not want to work. Will the squall work? Oh, the squall will work. That'll work just fine. As it continues to be right here, this will be the squall, and as it continues to work its way out to the north, let's just see if we can get any of the cities in there. And it looks like we're getting up towards the Laurel Bay area by about 11:39. Again, crossing over 170. Looks like it's going to pass to the west of Port Royal, but Laurel Bay, maybe even up towards the Seabrook area if it holds together. Again, these are usually brief rotation in there. We're going to continue to watch this. Meteorologist Jamie Earle is going to come over here and give you the latest and continue to update you on what we have with this tornado warning.
With the tornado warning, we're going to keep following that, Dave, but I wanted to give a brief update, a general update for the rest of the coastal empire and low country on the track of Michael. Michael still has 75-mile-per-hour winds, and that is technically a Category 1 hurricane, but at 74, it starts to downgrade into a tropical storm. It will continue through Warner Robins area just west, the center of rotation, just counties west of our far viewing areas of Idalia, and as it continues to move through Augusta, it will continue to move toward Columbia, and by 8 a.m. still a tropical storm. And interesting enough, as it moves toward North Carolina, Kill Devil Hills, it'll actually pick up steam. So watch how fast it's moving. It's moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. It is moving at a good clip, and that is good. We do not want this to slow down. So as we continue to watch what is producing so far in the coastal empire low country, not too much of any rain, some light sprinkles, some heavy downpours here and there, and of course the tornado warning for Beaufort County, Beaufort, Hilton Head, and Bluffton. That goes into effect until 11:45, and you can see it right here. I don't know if anybody knows where Marshallville is, but that continues to move toward basically Dublin, just outside of our viewing area. So you've got Vidalia right here, you've got Montgomery County, Alamo right there, and then you have Trutland right there and Emmanuel, and it'll be gusting possibly up to 65 miles. So how far away is the center of the storm from us? We're looking at 115 miles away from, let's say, Jessup. It doesn't quite reach to Jessup there, but we are looking at the winds extending outwards of 170 miles. So we are definitely feeling the winds in some locations, and we've had some gusts beside the gusty winds with this band of rain that continues to move just parallel to Tybee and into Calabogie Sound and Hilton Head and Bluffton and Beaufort, and we are watching that very carefully. You can see our downtown camera shaking in the wind now, so let's go ahead and look at some of those wind gusts. We've already had a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust at the airport, so that is tropical storm force wind gust. We've had a 36-mile-per-hour wind gust in Hinesville. 39 is a tropical storm force wind gust. 38 Hazelhurst, 46 in Alma, so a very strong gust there. And we've had some wind gusts in St. Simon and the Brunswick area close to tropical storm force wind gusts. And of course, Hilton Head, not registering how much winds we're getting right now, but these are wind gusts registered on several locations across the coastal empire and low country. So let's go ahead and talk about the wind gust forecast. We'll get back to the tornado warning in effect for Beaufort, Bluffton, and portions of Hilton Head. But I know a lot of you out in our western counties are feeling it and want to know how much longer will it last. This is a prolonged wind event. So we're talking about those winds coming in from the Atlantic. These are wind gust forecasts, and they're pretty much on target here, as we've seen a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust in Savannah, and we were projecting 41 at this time. So we are right on target where we should be, and so here's an idea of how we head through the rest of the evening. We're going to go hour by hour, so this is going to be a little slow for you, but I want everybody to pay attention to their city. If your city is not represented on this map, if you live in Rincon, go ahead and match it up with Springfield. If you live in Ludowici, match it up with Hinesville. And there are general sections of seeing similar type of wind gusts. So let's go into the 2 o'clock hour. Now we're starting to see some wind gusts in the 50s for Shelman Bluff, Hinesville, Glenville, Vidalia, Baxley, Jessup, and Alma, Statesboro even, and we're seeing upper 40s for Sylvania and Swainsboro, and even along area beaches for Savannah and Beaufort. As we head into the 4 o'clock hour, still possible wind gusts. These are not prolonged wind gusts, and the National Hurricane Center defines a wind gust as maybe 10 seconds. A prolonged wind, a sustained wind, is actually just 1 minute. So it may seem a lot longer in your mind, but these are very short briefs of gusty winds, 50 miles an hour heading into the 7 o'clock hour, and we get 60-mile-per-hour potential wind gusts in our outer counties, and maybe even stronger along the immediate coast. Dave's got more on our tornado warning at this time.
Yeah, I want to get you back over here to the tornado warning. We're really kind of looking at that, and it's really still looking like it's a very good rotation still showing up into this area here, into parts of Beaufort and Jasper County. So this is the area which we're going to continue to keep our eyes on right now, and it's really getting very close to the Highway 170 area. Let's see if we can go ahead and zoom on into that region, and that's going to show us. We just had a new radar scan and see if it updated right there and see how good that rotation, if it's still there on the latest scan. Yeah, still showing a nice little couplet right here crossing over 170. This is the Fripp Landing area right now, and this is going to continue to make its way quickly out to the northeast. So let's zoom out just a little bit, because I want to put a tracker on this. So if you're watching right now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. It's that tight couplet where the green is meeting the red right here along 170. It's the area where we're seeing rotation in the storm. Doesn't mean it's actually producing a tornado at the moment, but it could produce a tornado at any minute, and their tornado warning is continuing right there. So there it is, getting up towards the Laurel Bay area. It looks like we're going to continue to see that rotation getting up in that region by about 11:52. This is still showing a very good little couplet, we call it, where the green and the red are right next to each other, and it's continuing to work its way out to the north. Now again, we didn't have a lot of streets over in that area, so I'm going to try to zoom on in and see if we see any more of these streets so we can get hyper local for you. And as we zoom on in right now, let's see what we can find with that. Again, a lot of this is going to be kind of marshy areas here, so we're not going to see a lot of developments out in this region. Yeah, we're really not picking up a lot of streets out here. So let's see. There's the Baynard Road along 128 west of Shell Point, and it's continuing to work west of your area. You're going to be okay as this continues to work its way out to your west. And again, here's 170. There's the line we see. I'm trying to work its way northward, see if there's anything out to the north of it. Here's what we call Vox Road, it looks like. Elderberry Drive. It is going to be moving out just to your west. It looks like very over some marshy areas, which is going to be great news. There's, it looks like something, Robin Hall Road. Or let's see, no, not even close. It is Ticton Hall Road, and it looks like it's going to be moving out just to your east. As it continues to work its way northward. So we'll zoom on out and show you that again, as we don't really have a lot of areas which are getting close to that region. Okay, click on the zoom out.
Dave, I just wanted to let you know
and zoom out.
Beaufort County Sheriff's Office, just a brief update from our local officials. No emergency calls have been made into Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. That's good. And Bluffton Fire has not received any calls as well. So good news as far as nobody on the ground reporting any damage or any severe wind gusts or any sort of rotation.
Or any damage from any tornadoes, which is going to be good news. So again, this is Doppler radar indicated rotation into the storm right now, which could potentially produce a tornado. That rotation could potentially make its way down to the ground, but as of right now, we have not had any official reports of any type of rotation actually making its way down to the ground, which is definitely going to be some great news. But we're still seeing some of that rotation continue to work into parts of the Bluffton area, actually working north of Bluffton right now. Let's put the radar on here and show you where the storm itself actually is. And it's going to be this area right here. Here it is as you're continue to work its way out to the north right now. And we'll continue to kind of zoom on out a little bit so get a little bit more of a wider view of what we're looking at. And here we go right there. There's 278. There's the 170 area. Again, we're looking at that kind of working north of 170. And this tornado warning is continuing through 1145. It is over near the Habersham area. We're getting told that that's over into the Habersham area as it continues to cross over 170, and there's Bailey's Landing. This is Laurel Bay up in that area, and we'll put on the alert for you showing you that it is a tornado warning still, Doppler radar indicated tornado warning for this area from Laurel Bay down into the Habersham Bailey's Landing area that goes through the 1145 hour. Now let's get back over to where we have the velocities. Again, velocities show us inside the storm. We can see where those winds are, which way they are rotating, if they are going towards the radar and away from the radar. And we can still see that very tight couplet right there. That could still be producing an isolated tornado. It has rotation in the storm, which could make that rotation make its way down to the ground. So we still got to make sure that you are aware of that in here as you're getting, as we were just been told, right over the Habersham area as it continues to work up towards the Laurel Bay region. That is the main area which we're going to continue to track right now. I'm going to zoom on out just a little bit because we don't have any streets really to zoom on in to really get hyper-local on. So I'm going to see if this continues. I'm going to zoom on out and see if we can get other little cities on here. So we'll track it, put a cone on there for you, and see if we can get other cities here as we continue to watch. This area right there, and it's working quickly up, and if it holds together, there we go, a couple more cities on there. Laurel Bay by 1148, into the Coosaw area by about 1207, Sheldon 1219 into the Bruton area by 1229 if it holds together on this current path. Again, we do have that tornado warning through 1145, so if you're in one of those areas in the path of this rotation, which is right there north of the 170 region, I'll go ahead and put the little circle on that so we can actually see exactly what we're looking at right now. And it's going to be this little area right here where we're seeing that rotation right now. as it continues to make its way quickly out to the north and to the northwest. 45, 50 miles per hour, so it's going to move through quickly. If you're in that area, you need to be taking this seriously. Go on the lowest level of your home, interior room, away from any windows, interior closet, interior hallway, interior bathroom are very recommended places where you can go if there are under a tornado warning, which you are now for parts of Beaufort County going through 1145. And again, there it is. This is the rotation, which we're watching. The rest of the viewing area, I'll show you right now, which is actually very nice for most of the area. It is breezy out there, but we're not seeing a lot of in the way of that rain right now for most of the region. We still have the potential for seeing more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms in here, but very dry air right now from Statesboro, Hinesville into the Townsend area. The steadiest rain right now from Michael is from Baxley into the Lyons area over towards Swainsboro and just west of our region, getting very heavy rainfall right now. What we are seeing is one of the outer bands rotating in from the Atlantic, and it moved through Jasper and Beaufort County, and that is what has prompted the tornado warning right now, which is continuing in here for Beaufort County, especially going through the 1145 hours. So again, if you're watching over in this area into Beaufort County along 170, the Habersham area, the Bailey's Landing region, heading up towards not quite yet into the Sheldon area, but it's going to be getting closer to your region. This is the area which we're talking about right now. So let's go and put the velocity back on. We'll go ahead and zoom on in again. I know if you're just watching right now, we do have that tornado warning, which is in effect here through 1145 for parts of Beaufort County. We'll zoom in and show you exactly the one area which we're concerned about, and really the only area right now which has any type of concern for tornadic activity. And that is going to be this area right here. It's moving quickly now, so it's getting up towards the Laurel Bay area as we continue to see this make its way out to the north and northwest here very quickly at about 50 miles per hour. So we'll kind of recenter this area. And here's Laurel Bay. This is the rotation right there where the red and the green are right next to each other. So if you're watching now in Bluffton, you're going to be just fine. The storm is now north of your area. It is going to be getting up into the Laurel Bay area, kind of west of Laurel Bay. There's Seabrook, Sheldon. It's going to be moving up closer to your area. This is Interstate 95, Ridgeland. You're okay. That rotation is out to your east and continue to work its way out to the north. So again, tornado warning in effect till 1145. That's just a couple more minutes. We are still seeing a little bit of rotation in here, which could continue on with that warning as we speak. The area which we'll put the track on right now is continuing to work its way out to the north. And here it is right near the Laurel Bay area. It still looks like there's a little couplet out there right now as it gets closer to the areas over towards Sheldon by 1216. Again, that's a long ways away. We'll see if it holds together in the Coosawhatchie area by about 1219. But it's moving out of the Bluffton area as we speak as far as the rotation which prompted the warning goes. Are we seeing anything on the chat, guys, as far as we're going to continue with this? We're going to allow it to expire?
It will probably expire in the next minute.
We're coming up on the 1145 hour, so we'll see if they continue with that warning out there right now. But as of right now, we still have that tornado warning going for just the next couple of minutes. We'll put the alerts back on and see if we can get rid of that warning, or if the National Weather Service is going to continue with that warning or not. But still, there it is right now. We still have that tornado warning, which is in effect for the Beaufort County area through 1145. And again, this is what we're going to be seeing with a lot of these areas with the rotation moving on inland. Any one of these outer rain bands can certainly have some rotation in there. So we need to make sure that you have a way which you can get that weather information. If we have a warning, it's usually going to be quick. And as you can see right there, updated right now, that warning has been allowed to expire. So we don't see any more rotation in there, which is good news, which the Weather Service is going to be concerned about. So let's go ahead and wrap this up for you right now as we, as far as seeing what we have locally. I want to show you that we still have a tornado watch in effect. I'll put the alerts back on here for you. Tornado watch, I'll put all the warnings on here for you. There's the watch right now, and it looks like it has been extended northward now into South Carolina, as we expected it would be. Now a tornado watch going in effect for South Carolina. Let's see if you can see when is that in effect till. Looks like for South Carolina, we are looking at going through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's where the watch is here for our South Carolina areas. I believe it's still going through 2 a.m. for our Georgia counties. Let's see if we can get that coming up there for the Georgia. Did they extend the entire watch right now?
It may still be coming down, but I believe they're planning on extending it.
They might be planning on extending it right now. So we know the newest information we have for you is that we do have that new tornado watch now, including all of our low country areas. That goes through 7 a.m. So as long as we still see the center of circulation with Michael, which is still back out to the west of us, continuing to work its way quickly out to the northeast, we are still going to get some of these rain bands here, which could prompt an isolated tornado or a brief rotation with that. So let's put the radar on and show you that the bulk of the rain associated with Michael is still back out to the west of us. What we are seeing locally here was one of the outer rain bands which has been setting up. And we've actually been pretty lucky here as we've been getting a lot of dry air, it looks like, entrained on the southern and the east side of the system. Haven't seen much in the way of any rain, and we were talking about this earlier we might not see much in the way of any rain associated with this, but the potential is going to be there for getting some of that heavier rainfall, and there's still a potential as Michael continues to work its way to the north. We're going to send it on over right now to Dawn Baker, and she's going to have more of an update what's going on with our team coverage as we continue to follow Hurricane Michael.
That's right. Thanks so much, Dave, and thank you for watching us tonight. We continue our team coverage of Hurricane Michael as it moves into our viewing area right now. Minor reports of storm damage are already starting to roll in from parts of Georgia. We have crews throughout the coastal empire monitoring the very latest conditions. Let's start with our WTOC Bureau Chief Dal Kennedy, who is live now in Vidalia. Dal, how's it going?
Dawn, we're already seeing the rains pick up, we're seeing the winds pick up, and we are certainly feeling the gusts. We may have one just any moment. Talking with emergency crews earlier today, they say they are as ready as they can be for whatever Michael brings. They have put pieces of equipment and crews in position to respond immediately as soon as this storm ends. They are concerned about the rain that could come, but they are especially concerned about the wind.
This is going to be different than Irma simply because it's stronger wind, more wind. A lot more trees have died since then that hadn't failed, and now they're all fixing to fall.
That's a grim forecast, but it's pretty much the truth. Now, he tells me they've got fire crews and county crews ready to respond in conjunction with the utility companies in areas where those trees fall, take down the power lines. They will go in assisting with those power companies to make sure everything is safe to try to get the power back on. But we're looking at that will be in the morning. So whenever you lose power tonight, you're probably looking, it's not going to be until tomorrow morning or into the afternoon before you get it back. But of course, we'll keep you apprised of everything going on, especially as these rains pick up here in Vidalia. Live in Vidalia, Dal Kennedy, WTOC News.
All right, Dal, be careful out there. Thank you so much. Now we turn to our Danielle Lewan, who is live in Statesboro. Danielle, what are those emergency management workers telling you tonight?
Dawn, some of these crews have been here as early as 4 o'clock this morning. They're working actively throughout the night and into these early hours when we're expected to get the most damage from Hurricane Michael. You just saw Dal Kennedy out there in Vidalia, the track of Hurricane Michael going just west of these counties. And again, here we're expected to get some of that worst damage. Now, I caught up with the Public Safety Director, Ted Wynn, here in Bullitt County. Ted, we were talking about how fortunate it is that this is happening overnight with folks being off the roadway and hopefully bunkered down in their homes. But what do they need to know about keeping those alerts on while they're sleeping tonight?
Well, they do need to do that. We are under a tornado watch until 2 a.m., so we do tell people to keep those phones on alert so they can get those warnings.
Absolutely, and we will still be here in Statesboro with the Emergency Management Agency capturing everything they're tracking inside and also that first-hand footage for you outside. We'll have all of that for you both on air and online. But for now, reporting live in Statesboro, I'm Danielle Lewan, WTOC News.
4 shelters in Effingham County are open if you don't feel safe in your own home. The pastor of Sand Hill Baptist Church says the shelter is especially for anyone in a mobile home who wants a safer place during the worst part of the storm. If you go, though, you have to take your own bedding, toiletries, and anything that you may need. They're expecting 20 to 25 people, but aren't sure how many will actually show up tonight.
Just as whomever shows up. We just last time we had the shelter, I think we had about 25 show up, and you know, we just don't know until it kind of depends on how bad things get.
Now, here are the shelters that are open. The addresses are on your screen as well as on our website. Once again, they are for anyone, these shelters are for anyone who feels unsafe staying in their own homes overnight. Well, many areas in Georgia throughout our area have a curfew tonight. In Wayne County, it goes into effect in less than an hour, actually in just a few minutes at midnight. Emergency workers are asking residents to stay in their homes until the storm passes for their own safety. The emergency management team has tripled their EMS staff and say they will be strategically placed throughout the county so that they can get people to the area, to those people who have down power lines as well as trees.
We want to be able to respond to emergencies as needed. There'll be the sheriff's office will be beefed up with all their staff, and we're preparing to lose power.
Now let's take a look now at some of those curfews in our area. Wayne County and Long County begin at midnight and last until noon tomorrow. Jeff Davis County and Coffee County are at 6. We began at 6 p.m. and will end at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Appling County now until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And Evans County now until noon tomorrow. Tattnall County now until 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And we have a complete list along with the school closings online at WTOC.com. Well, the majority of public and private schools in the WTOC viewing area will be closed tomorrow. Savannah and Chatham County Public Schools are included in those closures. You can find that entire list on our website, WTOC.com. We're updating this list as the information comes in. This is also available for you on your WTOC News app. And if your power is out, you can stay up to date with the very latest weather warnings with the free WTOC weather app. You can track the radar, see the hour-by-hour forecast, video updates from our team, and sign up to get the alerts sent straight to your smartphone.
Let's talk about the very latest of what's going on our Safe Touch Security First Alert live radar. And we've got lots of radars going to make sure that you are covered and know what's coming. So we are watching that one rain band still produce lightning along our South Carolina counties. So Beaufort, Jasper getting light sprinkles now moving into the Ridgeland area, but some lightning associated with that moving into the North Sheldon area. 21 north of Beaufort, so along Trask Parkway. Some heavier rain still falling along 170. So please, if you think about traveling, maybe from Bluffton to Beaufort or vice versa, not a time to be on the roadways right now, and really not a time to be on the Cross Island Parkway. We've got more rain and more heavy rain offshore with lightning associated with this, and this has produced tornado warnings, and Dave was talking about that. No warnings in effect right now, but this is an extreme outer band from Hurricane Michael, and we're going to see that some of this rainfall is actually diminishing. It is just parallel to Tybee Island right now, so this band may be ending in the low country in the next hour. It is moving and grooving at about 50 miles an hour to the north. So it's going to be quick and it's going to be a little scary, but those wind gusts could be in those thunderstorms up to 50 miles an hour, notwithstanding wind gusts, because we're under a tropical storm warning for all the coastal empire and low country. We do not have any warnings in our area, but the darker red shows that we are under a tornado watch until 2 a.m. for our counties in Georgia, and that may be extended. And we're under a tornado watch for the low country until 7 a.m. So we're going to keep a close eye on anything, and that's that one rain band. That's all we're tracking in the low country right now that is continuing to push on shore. We've got some flood warnings back to the west. And if you notice, south of Wayne County, we're talking about McIntosh, or excuse me, not McIntosh, we're talking about Brunswick, we're talking about where the tornado watch is actually expired. So hopefully, if this trend continues, maybe they'll expire this watch early for, say, Wayne County, Alma, and Baxley. However, still in place, so we still have to watch it. So that rain band just about an hour ago produced locally heavy rainfall right along the county line. So if you're in Levy, about 7/10 of an inch fell, and that's radar indicated, in about 30 minutes. So heavy downpours and gusty winds, and the heavier rain still back to the west. So let's go hour by hour for you. And this is spot on, so this is really good. So that heavy rain band moving through the low country, but it will continue to push north and into the Charleston area. Savannah, we're dry but breezy. We get some outer rain bands coming into Toombs, Tatnall, Statesboro, light showers. This is 1 a.m. Look at how most of the rain, very interesting, and Dave mentioned this, is on the west side of the storm. Usually it's on the east side, but we've had very dry air. Our steering current, our front, our cold front that's pushing Michael along, kind of wrapped in here. So look at Fitzgerald at 1 o'clock. Look at Moultrie. Look at Willacoochee. Very dry, but still very windy. And rainy in Macon, Wrightsville to Sardis. So that's 1 a.m. Now the rain starts to move into the Jessup area, and we're still kind of dry in Savannah. This is a high-resolution model, too. So Statesboro dry, then by 3 a.m., some heavy rainfall, and that's where the heaviest rain will most likely fall at this time. 2 to 4 o'clock in the borough, in Screven, northern Effingham, into the low country, more rainfall, and then 5 light rain bands still wrapping around in Michael. 8 o'clock, we could be all done with the rain, except for maybe some bands kind of streaming in from the north and wrapping around. But with that drier air pushing in, honestly, I think 12 o'clock lunchtime we'll be done with all the rain, but still windy. The very latest on Michael, still a hurricane. Category 1, 75-mile-per-hour winds. 74 is when we drop it back to a tropical storm. It will continue to transition to a tropical storm pretty much over Macon. So the next update, and they're coming very briefly now, so we don't have to wait till a 2 o'clock advisory. These updates are becoming very quick, and it's moving quickly at 20 miles an hour to the northeast. So that's good. Sometimes, and we saw that with Florence, it just sits over one area. So this is moving at a good clip, and the pressure is rising. So watch as how it crosses over, let's just say just west of Dublin. And this is so close to our counties, Toombs and Tatnall, and the Telfair and Soperton area, and Emmanuel County, that's where the highest wind gusts will be inland. We get a slight break in the middle of our viewing area, but then we could see wind gusts along the immediate coastline up to, let's say, 55 miles an hour, maybe even 60. So the center of rotation, just northeast of Albany, and about 115 miles away from Jessup, 158 miles away from Savannah. So we did have a tropical storm force wind gust, which verifies that those winds extend out to 175 miles from the center of rotation. We've been saying that all along. And so 83 miles away from Vidalia right now. Now, one of the good things, earlier we were talking about tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings, and one of the counties that we were most concerned about, a hurricane warning was in effect for Jeff Davis County. Not anymore. So good news there. And our wind gusts are still expected right around 60 for that area. So we're taking a live look at the Talmadge Bridge, still checking up and seeing how many wind gusts are going right now. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Savannah, 43 in Swainsboro, and 46 in Alma, and we're only going to see more from here. So wind gust forecast as we head through the rest of the evening. We're talking about 30 to 50 as we're heading into the overnight hours, and some places could see 60. Dawn?
Now, we are about to go off the air right now, but do not worry. We're going to stay with you throughout this storm. Our First Alert weather team will be here throughout the night. They're going to have updates for you at the top of every single hour. And of course, if there is a warning that develops, they will be on the air with you throughout that warning. So stay with WTOC online, WTOC.com, the news app, as well as right here on TV. Be careful, everyone. Good night.